In the past 2 years, the world has been affected by COVID. In the United States, which leads the global economy, everyone knows that the assets of billionaires are constantly increasing. So, what is the average salary of ordinary citizens? When the media reports that their assets are rising and companies continue to recruit talents, the average salary in the United States has indeed increased. How much? Maybe even the Americans themselves do not know. Let us reveal this data today. Before you start, please remember to subscribe. Your support is very important to us. Nina Strominger, who is a professor from Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, earlier this year, published an article about salary on Twitter, and she found that Americans generally don't know what the average salary in the country is. Nina asked what the average annual salary in the US is through this tweet: more than $100,000. There are even extreme answers, with an average annual salary of more than $800,000. These answers shocked Nina because the average annual salary in the US is only $45,000. If look closely at the data of various industries, you can't say that the average of $100,000 is wrong, but this is only in a few industries. For technology industry technicians, the US-related industry personnel generally received a good salary increase in 2021 in salary income. According to the latest, the Dice Tech Salary Report 2022 released by the data website Dice, the unemployment rate in the US technology industry in 2021 is only 2.1%, which is a low level. The average annual salary of US technicians will increase by 6.9% from 2020 to 2021, reaching $104,000. From a geographical point of view, in Silicon Valley, Seattle, where the technology industry is relatively concentrated, New York City, Boston City, and other areas where colleges and universities are concentrated, the average salary of the technology industry is relatively high. For example, Silicon Valley is $133,200. Among all technology industry categories, the salary increase of network development is the largest, reaching 21.3%. If we look at large companies, among the S&P 500 companies, 150 companies have salary increases of more than 10%, more than 140 businesses with a median salary of at least $100,000, including Netflix and Nucor. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2021, workers in the private industry will receive the highest pay rise ever of 4.7%. After accounting for inflation, real income will decrease by 2.4%. If you look at each industry separately, Statista, according to the latest data, among a total of 22 occupations, there are 6 occupations with an average annual salary of more than $100,000 in the United States. Of course, the highest in the technology industry, with an average annual salary of $147,700. Then there is the business management category, with an annual salary of $138,000, finance and insurance, $124,100, utilities, $120,900, mining, $113,400. There are 7 categories with an average annual salary of less than $60,000. These include arts, education, retail, accommodation, and catering. The lowest is in the lodging and catering industry, with an average annual salary of $31,100. If you look at age, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics data shows that the average monthly salary of workers aged 20 to 24 is $2,750, 35 to 44 years old $4,862, 45 to 54 years old $4,927, 55 to 64 years old $4,910. So far, the average salary of the American people leads the world, but in fact, the living expenses in the United States are also very high. In 2021, the average annual personal expenditure in the United States will be as high as $47,200. According to the latest data this year, under inflation, the average annual personal expenditure will be even higher. It is more than $50,000. Even if most industries have salary increases, they are offset by expenses. In the United States, a salary that can be called qualified is at least higher than $51,400. As for why this number is, part of it is that considering the regional differences in the United States, the cost of living is different. Therefore, this number is an appropriate standard for statistics. If you only look at the top salary, the top employees in the industry may push up the average. If you look at the median, it can be found that there is a huge disparity in the treatment of employees in the United States. Among the S&P 500 companies, 41 companies have a median annual salary of less than $30,000 in 2021. It means that at least half of the employees in these companies are actually below the minimum average salary. Most of these are concentrated in retailers, superstores, and chain stores. Why are college students so distorted about the average annual salary? The answer is related to experience. In response to Nina's question, Harvard economics professor Stephanie Stanchova pointed out that many people always use their income to evaluate when answering these questions about income and the income of others. Therefore, most rich people think that others have a certain income. These judgments are not based on the actual situation. The problem of disparity may not be felt at all in some people. The trend of the industry is moving closer to the technology industry. After all, the technology industry has the highest salary level. The salary of most people in the United States is not as prominent as we imagined. COVID has almost disappeared, and the demand for manpower in all walks of life has risen. Bonuses and other methods to attract new employees or retain existing employees. Some large companies have even stated that they will continue to raise wages for the grassroots in 2022. Apple announced that the hourly wages of retail employees in the United States will be raised to $22. Starbucks promised to join the barista for 2 years with at least a 5% salary increase. Bank of America also announced that it will raise the minimum hourly wage of American employees to $22. Yes, the banking industry also has the problem of low wages. Even so, it is still hard to live in the United States with basic salaries. The salary of these grassroots employees is still difficult to catch up with the average annual personal expenditure of the United States. This reflects that the major countries in the world are facing the same situation, and the salary increase cannot keep up with the dilemma of inflation. Some countries can always show better performance. On the one hand, it is because the media reports only on high-income groups. This also makes some people think that the average salary level in the United States is very high. Americans with average salaries have a difficult life. If they want to save, they still must try their best to save money and find more passive income. Here is Monoponey. Welcome to like, comment and subscribe. See you next episode.